And we're back to attempt to finish fighting off Micolash. I did run through, grind up a little bit more to try and get a little bit more vitality. Oh, and of course. Friggin' first run, he can't just go where he needs to go. So you can sometimes trick him by running back this way. And just hit him. There we go. There. And this first phase isn't really all that difficult. You just gotta do the thing. It's not really until he starts using his big moves in the second phase that it becomes annoying. Like, generally everything about this boss fight kind of gets ruined by the boss fight. Like, this is a cool-ass arena.
Oh, majestic!
But, and it's also interesting that it's an arena boss fight. It's not just a standard go and just run to the boss, beat him, and do the thing. There's actually more to it. And that's a really fun idea, but they just really didn't execute it well. And I still have not gone down to the bottom of the staircase. I'm waiting to do that until after the boss fight, because that's going to be my little post-boss rub-down, I guess. See how much of a pain in the ass he's going to be this time. Alright. So getting him to the location wasn't that bad. Thankfully. There's no need to really waste your stamina running this whole trip, but do it just to kind of save time. And dash through his dialogue again. Damn it! Oh. If I would have just run forward and hit him, I would have gotten him. But I didn't want to get caught in the freaking blast, which makes you get caught in the freaking blast. Like, I legitimately feel like Micolash could have been one of the coolest, but one of the more interesting characters in the whole game. Because he is Micolash, the host of the nightmare. He is the person that is keeping this nightmare stable, or what have you. And he's relegated to being this annoying, pissy little runaround guy who gets no lore explanation. Like, very little, like, there's no item descriptions about him. There's nothing. It's just, leave it to your imagination to figure out what Micolash did. It's kind of apparent in Yahar'gul, when you see the whole, like, oh, there's the giant college of Mensis just all hooked up in these head cages with him in the middle. So basically they're all acting as batteries for this nightmare. But Micolash is mummified in the middle. Like, he is clearly not coming back from this. So his goal was to, what, live in the nightmare forever? Maybe he didn't know he was mummified on the outside. Like, I was looking it up online to try and figure out, like, oh, like, what the hell to even talk about with Micolash, other than his boss fight sucks, it's irritating, yada yada yada. He's a bitch.
Oh, majestic.
And a fairly common consensus was he doesn't know that he is not alive anymore. Or, like, he doesn't know that he's basically a fucking mummy. That, like, maybe he is, like, in his incorporeal state in here, he might be able to maybe, like, live forever. And he seems to be having a decent run of it, because, like, he can control anything in here. So, like, why would he want to go back, necessarily? So there is some credence to that. So the legitimate thing may be he just straight up doesn't know that he's dead, essentially. So, and Jesus, I hope on this one we get to hear his in dialogue. It's not much, but it is the only thing we get for him. So it does bear listening to.
Ah, cause what some say you are dead.
Yeah. Like, right off the bat, he was trying that shit. Yes, please try and, like, punch me, dude. I hate this boss fight so much. I hate the fact that the first time I got a good run on him was because his AI got stupid. Okay. So he said, now I'm waking up, I'll forget everything. So what does that mean? You can slate it to mean, like I said earlier, I think the implication that they were going for is that he doesn't know. So he thinks everything's just fine on the outside. He's like, oh yeah, me and my boys all powered up this thing. Or maybe he was even a dirtbag and knew that everybody else was gonna die to host the nightmare, but he was baller enough to actually survive it. So maybe he thinks he's just going to go back and he'll forget all of the amazing shit he learned in here, or all the crazed knowledge he learned here. So, I do go with the notion that he just straight up doesn't know. He has no clue that he's just been dead out there for however long. Get this shit off. There we go. Lady Mothman looking nice. And let's check out that Mensis cage. The School of Mensis controls the unseen village. This hexagonal iron cage suggests their strange ways. The cage is a device that restrains the will of the self, allowing one to see the profane world for what it is. It also serves as an antenna that facilitates contact with the great ones of the dream. But to an observer, the iron cage appears to be precisely what delivered them to their harrowing nightmare. So, it seems to state that the iron cage is what they were using to attract the great ones of the dream. But meanwhile, when you look at it, you're just like, oh, well, yeah, of course that's what fucking killed you. More knowledge would have been nice, but you don't really ever get it. Kinda just what you're left with. So now all the little puppets are dead. I'm gonna go snag the lantern. Yeah, this is where I'm gonna come back out. Because there is definitely something we want from right there. And this lifted up. That's what the cutscene we saw was. So brand new lantern. And this should be Murgo's loft top. Or middle. I don't remember. Might be middle. Regardless. So now, if you would have like run out like there, over there is the original run with Micolash, and he comes and runs up here. Yada yada yada. So you either had a right or a left turn. I went right because that's the way you're supposed to go. Left leads you to something very useful, but it's also like a huge trap. So you're supposed to chase this thing down, and it gives you 3 bloodstone chunks, which is amazing of a get. Which, just as a reminder, okay, I'm at 4. There's an amazing get, no matter where you're at. And you're like, ooh, an item. And then a guy. And then another guy. And normally you would be chasing after the shambling mass right now. And you get these sedatives, and you're like, okay, cool. Maybe you killed the thing, maybe not. But you're like, man, there's stuff down here. You get some blood chunks. These guys ain't too hard. Sedatives, that's fine. And then you would just keep going, keep going. Meanwhile, a boss fight is happening. Like, you're supposed to be fighting a boss right now. And then this. You get this fucker. Which, no big deal. He'll stay where he is. Calm down, Mildred. Look. And moon. Now you can already see I have 1 moon rune on. This is just a much better version of it. And you kind of have I don't know if I've shown it, but like as they get better, the icon gets more filled in. So kind of like, I guess the rune is more clear to you, like you can envision it more. believe there's a door in the original area that I just straight up don't have a key to yet. Yeah, okay. Wasn't up there yet. Yeah, I believe it's down here. And I just realized there's like no... So I never realized that these guys are just fine. They're the only one of these that are not controlled by Micolash, apparently. Okay. Alright, so... yeah, this door. Just straight up don't have a key to it yet. We are going to definitely be coming back for that door at some point. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I'll be honest, I'll probably just wind up getting it off camera. Due to the fact that I know that one of the items I love to use in this game is stuck behind a whole lot of bullshit. So we'll be dealing with that. It's alright. Finally time for progression. Man, they are freaking throwing bloodstone chunks at you. Yay. The worst enemy in the game. Yay. Oh yeah, by the way, standard enemies made out of boss enemies. Significantly weaker versions, mind you. Usually when they do this, they're supposed to be indications of like how much of a badass you've become, but these are not the same strength as the actual bosses. So it kind of feels a little... I don't know, it doesn't have the same weight to it when it normally happens. Like when in Dark Souls 1, when you fight the boss that are the gargoyles, and then later on in Rolando, you fight just the gargoyles, and they're exactly as strong, it's just you're stronger now, too. These never really had the same feeling, because they're very obviously weaker. It's like, I don't want to say it just feels like they just didn't want to design a new enemy, but it kind of feels like they just didn't want to design a new enemy. We're going in there in a second. Just gotta open up a little shortcut here. Even though, to be honest, it's not really much of a shortcut. Afflicted organ. Special body parts collected by the Healing Church. What was this gruesome bait used to lure? Oh. The additional rotted offering beckons ungodly forces, normally terrifying things, but also worthy prey for a special hunt. Alright, there be madness afoot. So... she got to look like Lady Mothman for a second, at least. I hate the winter lanterns. Kinda bummed they are so interesting. Let's say, can bullshit occur? Wow, it kind of feels as though I'm not getting much protection against frenzy with this outfit, even though I really should be. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of felt like bullshit. I kind of felt like shit straight up just did not work. Like, I'm not crazy here. Like, this is the exact outfit I used outside when the whole thing was also causing frenzy constantly, and that just felt like it didn't do jack shit. Whatever. It's like it can clearly see me, but it's just not quite enough. Oh. That's fine. Like, I don't know if I'm crazy or not. Like, something doesn't feel right. Like, it feels like my frenzy protection isn't working at all. It feels like I don't recall whether there's not supposed to be any music right now. There's nothing happening. We're gonna exit the game and pop back in and see if maybe something is not. Like, it would make sense if Micolash is dead. I'll be honest, usually by the time I finish Micolash, I do it in one sitting and I'm annoyed and I just stop playing the game for a sec. So I may just not remember whether there's music or not, or whether Mikolash's death stopped all that. But yeah, it just seems like oddly quiet. Yeah, no. There's just nothing. Alright. What's up, Not Patches? I saw the, like, Patches look like Curly, and this motherfucker looks like Mo. They're also wearing necklaces, which is weird. No. I got nothing. Well, I know Frenzy's normally kind of fucked, but, like, Normally it's like, this is the outfit you put on, and Frenzy is... I'm not going to say negated. Like, obviously it's still a very big problem, but... like, this is what helps you. But it don't really seem to be doing shit. We want to go down there in a second, but before any of that shit, we're gonna do this. What I believe is a nice big Demon Souls reference. There we go. That's right, I don't have the rune on. That's a good point. Yeah. So that would be... yeah, okay. Yeah, so these clothes are basically doing next to nothing. As compared to the rune, which is, you know, god tier protection. Oh, I don't want to go down here. I want to go down here because the item I want is over there. It's that chest. That's what I want. Had to see if Frenzy was actually going to stop her, if it was just going to be an asshole. So yeah, these are all the chumps. Looks like they're from the healing church that I guess made it in here and were just destroyed by that thing we dropped. The old mother brain. We're just clearing out all these items. This would be a pain in the ass if you didn't pull that frickin' lever first, because you would be getting frenzied the entire time. And this is that door. This is that door that leads into the Micolash boss fight. It doesn't really serve you any good purpose. Aside from having a way out of here without, I think without homeward boning. Or was it Bold Hunter's Mark in this game? Yeah, Bold Hunter's Mark. So we want that item, but we're not going down there just yet. We have to go deal with bullshit. Because as it was pointed out to me, I don't have the thing on that makes this slightly less bullshit. Ideally, I would run up, kill her, get the item, and go, and not die. I could also just get the item and leave. Sorry, we're mashing out a button here. Yup. There we go. Fuck that chick. Fuck wasting blood vials on her. And if I were playing online right now, there'd be message after message of, item ahead, yada yada yada, stone ahead. Hey, it's a blood rock. That is the only blood rock in the base game. A large solid chunk that forms in cold blood. After death, a substance in the blood hardens, and that which does not crystallize is called a bloodstone. This is no mere chunk, it is nearly a boulder. A few bloodstones of such size have ever been discovered, even considering the combined experience of all the hunters. So yeah, it's to let you know, like, hey, this is it. Now, granted, you can go into the Chalice dungeon to get more, and I believe there's a couple more in the DLC, but that's it. As far as base game goes, that's what you're getting. is it for this path. So now we have a little bit more cleanup to do before we properly progress. I believe, yeah, we're done with frenzy protection for the rest of the game. I believe. Not counting the DLC, but like, as far as regular shit goes, we are done with frenzy protection.
Very well. Let me...
Pop that to 20. And then... start getting you up to 30.
Very well.
I'm actually going to hold off on making that level 10 weapon. Just to see how I feel like farming for blood rocks off camera. So let's see. We can definitely equip the new moon. Communion is fine. Eye is fine. Yeah, we're not really hurting for anything. Alright. So, there is something we can't do quite yet. There's a final bit to unlock there. Because right now, as it sets, we could finish off the Nightmare of Mensis and then beat the game. Or beat the base game. We're not going to do that. Unfortunately, this game has the big problem of, hey, look, there's the final boss. The second you beat him, you just start the new game plus. And that sucks. Unlike with like Dark Souls 3 or Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 2, where you can beat the main game and then you just get the option to like, hey, do you want to start new game plus? If you say yeah, you can't undo it, but you at least get the choice. This game does not give you the choice. So we're going to finish the Nightmare of Mensis probably on the next stream. But for now, actually, we may leave it and be the very last thing, because it's a decent little like 1-2 punch to beat the Nightmare of Mensis and then the final boss. So what we need to do is head all the way back to the Cathedral Ward, because we got a key that we haven't used yet. And we need to go unlock a door. We've actually got 2 completely optional areas that we have not done. We haven't even touched on. So we're not going to come back to the Nightmare of Mensis for a little while. We have 2 optional areas. There's going to be 2 optional bosses that we're not really going to worry about right now. We're probably just going to do a whole stream of running optional bosses. And that would be Ebriatis and Dark Beast Parl. And maybe something else. We'll see. You got no chance, man. Come on. Oh, let's get rid of that. Don't need that one anymore. Just need our trusty Pebble. Pebble will lead us to victory. Whoop. Come on, dude. I'll take more blood vials. They never stop being useful. Never stop being useful. Alright. So we come up here. And then we had this room. So normally you would come up here, you would... Where is it at? Yeah, right here. You get the Radiant Sword Hunter's badge, and you'd come to this door, like, way earlier in the game. Like, that's what allowed me to get this weapon. And, like, door's locked. But we got the Upper Cathedral key. So now we can come here. We hit the Upper Cathedral ward, where we're greeted with this fucking thing. Now these things suck. They're essentially kin, so they're super weak to bolt and blunt. So I don't know. They might also be weak to fire. I'll check it out. I'll run an experiment real quick. Everything in this game seems to kinda not like fire. Oh, I am misgauging distances right now. Third time's a charm. There we go. Now this guy, which is like super anxious to get up at me. He definitely doesn't like fire, so yeah, we can do that. And we can trigger a new lantern. And now we have free access to the Upper Cathedral ward. Great Lake. There's going to be another one of our resistance runes. Increases all defense types. Just straight up damage reduction plus 4%. And you never really have to deal with these guys again. Like, you never need to just kill those. It's kind of just a waste of time. They don't give you next to any soul blood echoes. They're actually kind of dangerous because of what they do. You know what? I should let just there's one left. Go ahead. They cause frenzy. Like, just straight up, they cause frenzy. I didn't mind it because it's like, okay, there's one left. I'm never going to get bitten by one because you're never going to really encounter them again. Let's just show it off. You know, I said there was no more frenzy left in the game, but I completely forgot that I was going to do this area. So yes, there is one more very important thing that causes frenzy in this area. But we're not going to get to that for a while. I believe with this, we're just going to get to the actual boss of this area, and like I said, not worry so much about the secret boss. And we get choir clothes. Let's definitely take a look at those. What choir? Choir clothes are what the Bergenworth hunter was wearing. Choir garb. It's also, if you look at it, what the imposter Yosefka was wearing. So attire of the choir, high-ranking members of the Healing Church. Members of the choir are both the highest-ranking clerics of the Healing Church and scholars who continued the work that began at Bergenworth. Together with the left-behind Great One, they took to the skies in search of astral signs that may lead them to rediscovery of true greatness. So, yeah, once again, another offshoot of the Healing. A lot of offshoots of the Healing Church. Pretty decent resistances. Except Frenzy. Has garbage Frenzy resistance. Which, I guess kind of makes sense. No. Nah, not wearing pants. Lady Mothman don't wear pants. Wears a nice dress. So, we're in this nice area that's got, you know, the big ghoulish guys. We got Kin. And then, just also beasts still. Seems like super weird that there are still beasts here. And not just like a couple, like there's a lot. Like, see if we can get a look. Yeah, you're not really supposed to notice that. They're just beasts hanging out, partying, crashing down chandeliers, kicking an old school like Ferris Bueller would have done. I love that. I think that is like just fun for the sake of being fun. There we go. Now some might see this and think, man, this is bullshit that you're fighting them this way. And you're right. It is. But I don't care. Because that is the best way to fight these enemies. And it has been since the beginning of the game. There's another Bloodstone chunk. So these guys are just going to drop every upgrade material. Like, except for rocks. So obviously they're not going to drop blood rocks. Nothing drops blood rocks. Good God, if there was an enemy that just dropped blood rocks, I would have every weapon to +10. Something. It's just... yeah. They had the music set really quiet for some reason. Cosmic Eye Watcher badge. That's a good badge. Oh, there's Wolfie. I'll be honest, it's kind of a bummer that throughout the entire game, no matter what else happens, the way to fight those big wolves is just dodge and attack, and then swing, 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 swing. Like as long as you have a weapon that is fast enough, which, as long as you have the saw cleaver, they have literally no way of counterattacking you. Oh, then let me look in key items. Badge of the Choir, Healing Church Elite. Badge of a member of the choir, elite to the Healing Church. The eye signifies the very cosmos. The choir stumbled upon an epiphany, very suddenly and quite by accident. Here we stand, feet planted in the earth, but might the cosmos be very near us? Only just above our heads. So, shit's locked. More chunks. Nope. Yep. Bullshit occurred. That's fine. Not gonna kill me. I don't need insight for literally anything. Like, I would use insight to summon NPCs, but I clearly have plenty to spare. So, yeah. These guys can do what they need to do. As long as I survive the encounter, it's fine. I'm not gonna stress about it. Like, this always sucks. Whatever. Go wombo combo. There we go. Every so often you'll get one of those guys who will just he'll attack, like he'll stun you, grab you, feed, blindfold cap, and then as you're getting up and as he has finished his little shivers of delight, he will stun you, grab you, feed, and it just, like, you don't even get a chance to heal sometimes. But didn't happen, so it's fine. The eye covering indicates their debt to the teaching of Master Willem, even though their paths diverged. I've actually enjoyed that hat for a good while. Yeah, let's rock it for a little bit. I don't mind it. More pearl slugs. Alright. Here's our little shortcut. If whatever we die, we just run straight through here, but not all that worried about it. As per the state, not very worried about it. So we got the orphanage key. So make contact. So we could leave right now. This is what we came here for. Everything else up here is totally optional. Granted, this was optional as well. We don't need what I came up here for. Like, that gesture is not necessary. But it is useful. In fact, we're gonna switch that out. This door with the orphanage key. Now to complete the game, like 100% and like get all your trophies and everything, this is not optional. There are very clearly going to be, one of the secret bosses in here is, the secret bosses that you get a trophy for, or an achievement for, is in this area. So I need to test fire. Okay. So I killed a lot of kidnappers. How much bolt paper I got? Oh yeah, that'll work. So this is an opposite effect where instead of a boss type becoming a normal enemy became a boss. I mean, kinda. We'll get there. Whoa. Little baby pushes. And he, as all kin, straight up do not like bolt. There you go. Celestial Emissary. Done. There's, not much to that. And he gives you, I believe, the final communion? Max blood vials at 3. Nice little flower field. And a new lantern, because you get a lantern for every boss room. And secrets. A call beyond. I will be able to use that at some point. Not gonna be during this play. During off-camera time, I'll be working to where I can use that, but that is honestly one of those spells that's way more useful in, like, PvP. So, what it is it's that bullshit Micolash was doing. So now, with the Augur of Abriatus and a Call Beyond, you basically can just be Micolash. You just unequip every weapon, use fists. It's also completely possible that if you could, so forth, loot his corpse, if it didn't just dissipate because it wasn't real, that he may, in fact, have a weapon from the DLC equipped called a Cos Parasite. Because when you equip that, it's just unarmed combat until you have a very special rune equipped. So it is completely possible that he managed to get his hands on a Cos Parasite, but it's just not working for him because he doesn't have that rune. Kind of like that idea. I think I'll run with it. Because screw it, they didn't give me any other lore for it, so fuck it, why not? Create a small star explosion. One of the secret rites of the choir. Long ago, the healing church used phantasms to reach a lofty plane of darkness, but failed to make contact with the outer reaches of the cosmos. the rite failed to achieve its intended purpose, but instead created a small exploding star, now a powerful part of the choir's arsenal. At times, failure is the mother of invention. So, there's the elevator, and we'll just take it down because we're using a Bolt Hunter's Mark anyway. Oop. There we go. You can summon Damien of Mensis, and that is the Left Behind Great One. That is Ebrietas, Daughter of the Cosmos. Easily one of the coolest looking bosses in this game. I love Ebrietas. I'm not great at fighting her, so it'll have to be another run where I just like, okay, here we go. Which is why I said, like, oh, we'll probably have a stream of me fighting Ebrietas, Daughter of the Cosmos, then I'll pop over to Yahar Ghul and go fight Dark Beast Parl. And then we'll probably... I don't know. I might do that on the same time that we do Canehurst. Because Marta Logarius is going to be at the end of Canehurst, and that is another completely optional boss that is, I don't know, I'm not going to say harder, but a little trickier than a lot of the other bosses. So, we're basically done with the Upper Cathedral Ward for right now. We got all the items. We did everything we needed to do. All that's left is Ebrietas, and we're not doing that today. But we did get what we came here. We got Make Contact, which there's no description to read on the gestures, which is kind of a bummer. Make Contact, I believe, is a reference that a lot of people hold that if we ever were to make actual contact with otherly world beings, that math, like, lamest shit ever, that math might be the commonality between us. So you can actually tell the character is making a right angle or a 90-degree angle with their arms. So I think the thought process is supposed to be that, like, maybe, just maybe, if we can reach an understanding. It's like, say this creature or a being from space or the heavens or what have you comes down, and there's just a 1,000,000% language gap between
Welcome
us.
home, good. What is it you desire?
Like, there is no feasible way possible that conversation is going to happen. Like,
Let
doomed
the
from the
echoes
start.
become your strength.
I guess the thought is that if
Let me
maybe we
stand
can
close.
both express the fact that we
Now shut
understand
your eyes.
math, that we could come to, I don't know, maybe find a way to communicate.
Farewell, good hunter.
I don't really know who originally came up with that thought, but it's, I mean, sure, I guess. Why not? Better than anything I got working right now, so. I'm just actually seeing what we've got here. We can now buy chunks for 20 inside a pop, so. You ever got all that insight you're just not using, go ahead and pop it and use your, get your bloodstone chunks. Still got Henrik's stuff. Nothing really all that useful. Got the short ritual root chalice, just to quickly join a chalice, so. Not really worried about that right now. I'll probably get that in the interim. But yeah. See, do I have enough on me to get another level? I doubt it. 2 frenzied. And then 1 kin. Nope. Nope, just not enough. Need like 5,000 more. So I'll get that pretty quickly. So we are going to go to Murgo's Loft base. We've been here a bunch. We're not going to go back up to the top where we fought Micolash. We're actually going to pop right here to this elevator that runs faster than the camera pan originally worked out for. These are called Murgo's attendants. And that's what I know about them. That's the lore. You don't ever get their armor, so you don't learn anything about them. Not that I want their armor. But there's no real item descriptions to help you with anything. It's kind of, I would say, one of the weaker things about this game as opposed to a lot of the regular Souls games. Like, I know it's not really fair to consider, like, to compare this with a real Souls game, because it's just not. It's its own entity. But, I mean, come on, it's a Souls game. There's a lot of reference work put in. And I did totally get enough to level up, so that's good. So we're going to this elevator that wasn't here before, and why it's here now, I have no idea. I got no answer for you. We're going below existence. Normally, if you're online, there are messages leading you to where you're supposed to be going here. But, seeing as I'm not online right now, I don't really have that. I guess you're just intended to wander around the dark for a while. Oh, there we go. What up? So we've got a moment. There are things in Dark Souls games, in From Software games. Let's not call them Dark Souls games. Let's call them From Software games. They're from games and things that have, how do you say it? Convoluted. This is convoluted. So you come here, and you have this thing, which was causing frenzy. That was what was causing frenzy throughout the entire stage, anytime you were outside. I didn't spend a lot of time outside, because it's a problem. It's annoying. There's not really a lot out there. Meh. So, this is what was causing it. So you sit here for literally 1 minute, and then that happens. And you get the final moon rune. It just gives it to you. Final moon rune. And you would think, like, maybe that would give you a little something. It kind of does. It's been giving it to you from the very beginning. Very first one you got, the description has always been the same. But you get here, and the great ones that inhabit the nightmare, which, that is a great one. It is inhabiting the nightmare, so there you go. They're sympathetic in spirit, and often answer when called upon. So, if, I guess, you happened to know that some people consider math to be the frickin' universal language, then maybe you would figure out to make contact to the thing. Or maybe you would go up to the Upper Cathedral Ward, you would see that thing, that body making contact, you would get the gesture, and then you would instantly fight a great one and be like, oh, maybe... I don't know. I don't know what the thought process is supposed to be. Much like finding the original DLC in Dark Souls 1, or figuring out the Usurpation of Fire ending by yourself in Dark Souls 3. There's just a lot of convolution in some of these games that just... It's there for you. It's there to have, like, I guess the playground conversations of, oh man, I beat the game. Oh, cool. Did you like it when you saw this? I didn't see that. And then you'd go home and immediately replay the game. And so there's not infinite. There's roughly 3 types of replay value in this game. Alright. There's only one thing left to do. Like, this is it. This is what you do. You just sit here and kill this great one that is not attacking you in any way, shape, or form. And it's not necessary. You don't have to do this. But if you're going for completion, this is the way that you get a very specific item that allows you to finalize things in a chalice dungeon. You get the living string. And it's just gonna rain blood here for a little while. So let's check that out. You can tell I haven't been doing chalice dungeons because I have Ritual Blood 2 and then Ritual Blood 5, and that's it. If you've been doing your chalice dungeons, you'll have like 3s, 4s, and stuff like that. Living Stream. Oh, I should point out, it is a special material, not a material like all the other ones. Inflicted organs are special, these are special. A living stream is also special. The immense brain that Mensis retrieved from the nightmare was indeed lined with eyes on the inside, but they were of an evil sort, and the brain itself was terribly rotten. But even still, it was a legitimate great one, and left a living relic at that, which is a precious thing indeed. But even still, it was a legitimate great one, and left a living relic at that, which is a precious thing indeed. So yeah, you kill it, and you get a thing called a living string, and that's it, and you never have to come back here. So, back to the lantern. So now, there's no more frenzy effect in this area. You can explore it to your heart's content. Killing these guys is a great way to farm for blood echoes. They also drop chunks if you want to farm for chunks. I'm showing a great way to farm, by the way, which is steady, get your ass handed to you over and over and over again. So it's a fantastic way to farm. But that's fine. No big deal. But now you're able to explore that area with no real penalty. Not all that worth it. There's not a lot out there. Those guys are great for farming. They do drop chunks. They also have a lot of souls to offer. For some reason, this guy got my souls, and that's just fine. He'll die. I'm gonna do the much smarter thing and drag you away from your buddy. And you get another eye rune. So if you're farming for upgrade materials, you would just plop on both eye runes and be fine. If you're farming for blood echoes, you pop on, hell, all of your moon runes. They just, all three of them, they do stack. And you just come here and farm to your heart's content. There's a bunch of good farming areas. Those guys do offer a little bit more of a challenge. So far, the easiest farming method is still to go to Lecture Hall Room 1. Just straight up due to the fact that you go there, not waste any blood vials, never really get hit, and just... I think with one moon rune, get 14 grand in souls in one run. It's not great, but it is the easiest. So if you're really not confident, your levels aren't as high as you would like, then yeah, just go to Lecture Hall first floor and go to that big assembly room, and you will you'll definitely get your levels built up. I think right now we're what, at level 91, so yeah, my levels are a bit expensive, but that's fine. So let's see, what all did we... Nah, I'm not digging it. Yeah. So what all did we accomplish? We took care of Micolash. Fucking God. We took care of the living failures. We basically cleared out the upper cathedral ward, save for Ebrietas. We unlocked the next path of progression for the final area of Murgo's Loft, which I already said we're not really going to worry about that for a while, just because we're pretty well done. So, yeah, I think next stream we will start off at... You know what? No. We're actually gonna go do something now. We're not gonna make any wicked hard progress, but we are going to get to the next starting location. So Cathedral Ward is there's a lot of non-necessary areas in this game. Like, if you're just willing to farm, the entirety of Old Yharnam is not necessary. Upper Cathedral Ward is not necessary. The first area of the nightmare where you fight against Amygdala is not necessary. Alright. So when we came here, there was a letter right here. And we need to show that off. It's a Canehurst summons. A summons inviting you to Canehurst. For some reason they are specifically inviting you. An old bloodstained summons inviting an honored guest to the forsaken Canehurst Castle. Rather bafflingly, it is addressed to you. Do not hesitate. The stagecoach leaves from Hemwick Crossing. I didn't really need to port here. I could have just shown off that item, but I'll be completely honest. I crossed up the information in my head. So, we have to figure out what the hell Hemwick Crossing means. And this is a little bit of convolution, but not a lot. So, you know Hemwick. We've been to Hemwick. The Witches of Hemwick. So, we would go to the Witches' Abode. To Hemwick Charnel Lane. That makes sense. We're just going to port right to the boss room and take a little back entrance. Alright, and sensing danger, old, oh, shit. Okay, I can swing too. It's okay, buddy. I'm a coward too. Alright, so here's the crossing. You just come up to this weird obelisk that's just here for no frickin' reason. And you get this very interesting scene. Just this very old style stagecoach. That is coming to pick you up. And you select ride carriage and just let it go. Now this feels, just to point out, this feels very different. Like everything about this area that we're about to go to feels very different from the rest of the game. It seems almost like this area was supposed to be DLC. Or that this was maybe like the original premise of the game. Was that, you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna make Castlevania. Just gonna make Castlevania with Dark Souls controls. That's all we're gonna do. And this becomes the area where anyone who is like, oh, Bloodborne isn't just the new Castlevania. It's like, fuck off. This area very clearly is supposed to be like, hey. Like, look at this. Look at this. Dracula's yucking it up there. Probably was a test area like Ariana's. So, you turn around and your horse friends are now dead. This thing is iced over. Time has passed super weird. Was it a ghost? Was it teleportation? The bridge they brought you on is fucked. Also, The bridge that they came from is non-existent because it just ends, falls off into the water. So it's like, what is this? This area is nothing. It's weird, non-existent bullshit. It's not a dream. Like, it also exists in a state of the world that the rest of the game isn't in. So where are we at? This is Canehurst Castle. What's Canehurst all about? They got some statues, got some cool bros doing cool things. Hanging out, naked ladies. You know how they do. So, I said earlier that the Winter Lanterns, which are the big brain enemies in The Nightmare, are the worst enemy in the game, and I stand by that. These are tied for a close fucking second, because they have a decent amount of health. They hit you like a fucking truck. Like, hey, I'm much higher leveled than I should be for coming here. You're kind of supposed to come here the first time you get that little secret, path into Yosefta's clinic. They only give 3,000 blood echoes, which, I'll be honest, in the original game, I'm pretty sure they didn't. Like, before a lot of the patches came out, I'm pretty sure these enemies gave you next to nothing and caused way more damage. Because I remember coming here for the first time, getting my ass handed to me by these enemies, and them giving me next to nothing. Like, no upgrade materials, they don't drop any useful items. There's just nothing to them. So, they're not bad. Actually, they're better to fight in the DLC, because they don't give you any real blood echoes, but they don't have as much health. And so they're like, oh, when you come across 3 or 4 of them, it's like, oh, it's not that big a deal. Whereas in this place, you come across 3 or 4 of them, it's like, well, time to be the lamest I could possibly be. And fight them one at a time by hucking pebbles at them. So, this is where we will start the next stream. We are going to take on Canehurst Castle. And hopefully knock it out in one go. I know good and damn well we're not going to beat the boss in one go. That's not happening. I've never been good at fighting him. But, no matter what, that's going to be the end of this stream. Thank you all for watching. If you're checking out the VOD on YouTube, hey, hit me up with a like, a comment, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, stay up to date, blah, 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 thing they want you to say, yada, yada. It really does help, though. I fuck around, but it does help. Yeah, like that. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys next time.